This video is divided into 4 parts: the science of storytelling, the art of storytelling, how to make money telling stories, how to edit videos as a storyteller. How to make money telling stories. To make money telling stories involves creating high-quality content, understanding your audience, and using multiple revenue streams like ads, sponsorships, and merchandise. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, and Facebook offer great opportunities for sharing visual stories. Growing your audience and earning revenue requires engaging with your audience, collaborating with others, optimizing your content, using ads and sponsorships, selling merchandise, using affiliate marketing, offering paid content, and analyzing your performance. With dedication and creativity, you can turn your social media storytelling into a profitable venture. The science of storytelling. Scientists have studied why stories are so powerful and important. They have found that our brains are wired for storytelling. When we hear a story, our brains release chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. These chemicals make us feel happy and connected to others. As storytellers, it is important to be aware that the release of these chemicals is what triggers the actions that our listeners take and make. It becomes compulsory for beginners in storytelling to work towards being skillful in deliberately infusing the right chemicals through their stories in order to achieve the byproduct, which making the money. Making money as a storyteller is a byproduct of skillfully infusing the right chemicals into the brain of the audience. It was important to repeat that point twice, so that we come to terms with its relevance. We will provide more details on the science of storytelling. However, let's lay the foundation by giving the definition of storytelling. Here comes the big question: what is storytelling? Storytelling is the act of sharing stories. These stories can be told through words, pictures, sounds, or even dance. A story can be about anything, like an adventure, a lesson learned, or a funny event. People have been telling stories for thousands of years. It is a way to share experiences, ideas, and feelings. Storytelling is very important in our lives for many reasons, because it helps us share our thoughts and feelings with others. We can use stories to explain things in a way that is easy to understand. Stories can teach us lessons. They can help us learn about different cultures, history, and morals. When we tell stories, we connect with others. Stories help us understand each other better. Stories are fun. They make us laugh, cry, and feel excited. Stories help us remember things better. When information is presented in a story, it sticks in our minds longer. Let us go further by talking about the historical context and evolution of storytelling. Storytelling started long, long ago. Before there were books, movies, or the internet, people told stories to each other. They used to gather around fires and share tales about their ancestors, gods, and heroes. These stories were passed down from generation to generation. This was how people learned about their history and culture. For a very long time, stories were not written down. Instead, they were told out loud. This is called the oral tradition. In the many ancient cultures, storytellers were very important people. They remembered the history and traditions of their people and shared them with others. Around 5,000 years ago, people started writing down their stories. The first stories were written on clay tablets and papyrus scrolls. Later, they were written in books. This made it easier to share stories with more people. Famous ancient stories like the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Iliad, and the Odyssey were written during this time. Every culture has its own myths and legends. These are stories about gods, heroes, and magical creatures. They explain how the world was created and why things happen. For example, Greek myths tell us about Zeus, the king of the gods, and his adventures. These stories are still popular today and have influenced many books, movies, and TV shows. Fairy tales and folklore are stories that have been told to children for hundreds of years. These stories often have magical elements and teach important lessons. Some famous fairy tales include Cinderella, Snow White, and Jack and the Beanstalk. Many of these stories were collected and written down by authors like the brothers Grimm and Hans Christian Andersen. Today, we have many ways to tell stories. We have books, movies, TV shows, and video games. We also tell stories through social media and podcasts. Modern technology has made it possible to share stories with people all around the world. In schools, teachers use stories to help students learn. Stories make lessons more interesting and easier to understand. For example, a history teacher might tell the story of a famous person to help students learn about that time period. In science class, stories about experiments and discoveries can make the subject more exciting. Businesses use storytelling to connect with customers. Advertisements often tell a story to make a product seem more appealing. For example, a car commercial might show a family going on an adventure in their new car. This makes people imagine themselves having fun with their own family in that car. With the internet, we can now tell stories in new and exciting ways. Digital storytelling includes blogs, vlogs, video blogs, and social media posts. People share their personal stories online, and these stories can reach a huge audience. This has given everyone a chance to be a storyteller. Video games and virtual reality (VR) have brought storytelling to a new level. In these formats, people can be part of the story. They can make choices that affect the outcome. This makes the experience more engaging and memorable. The future of storytelling is very exciting. With new technology, we will find even more ways to share our stories. Artificial intelligence (AI) might help us create new kinds of stories. We might also see more stories that blend reality and fiction in creative ways. Now let's go back to the core of the science of storytelling, where we address the neurological basis of storytelling. Storytelling is a powerful tool used by humans to share experiences, ideas, and emotions. From ancient myths to modern movies, stories captivate our attention and influence our thoughts and feelings. But what happens in our brains when we listen to or tell a story? We will explore how our brain processes stories and the role of certain chemicals, like oxytocin, in making storytelling so impactful. When we hear or tell a story, several parts of our brain come alive. These brain regions, like the temporal lobes, frontal lobes, parietal lobes, occipital lobes, amygdala, hippocampus, and mirror neurons, get activated by stories and work together to help us understand and connect with the story being shared. The temporal lobes, located on the sides of our brain, are essential for processing sounds and language. When we listen to a story, the temporal lobes help us understand the words and sentences. They also help us recognize familiar voices and sounds, which adds to our experience of the story. The frontal lobes, located at the front of our brain, are involved in thinking, planning, and making decisions. When we follow a story, our frontal lobes help us anticipate what might happen next. They also help us make sense of the characters' actions and motivations, making the story more engaging. The parietal lobes, at the top of our brain, help us process sensory information from our environment. When we imagine scenes from a story, the parietal lobes are active in creating mental images and spatial understanding. This makes the story feel more vivid and real. The occipital lobes, at the back of our brain, are responsible for processing visual information. If the story is being told through pictures, movies, or even vivid descriptions, the occipital lobes help us interpret these visual elements. This region helps us see the story in our mind's eye. The amygdala, a small almond-shaped cluster of nuclei located deep in the brain, plays a crucial role in processing emotions. It helps us feel the emotional highs and lows of a story. When a story is sad or exciting, the amygdala reacts, making us feel those emotions more deeply. The hippocampus is involved in forming new memories. It helps us connect the events in a story to our own experiences or other things we know. This connection helps us remember the story better and understand its meaning. Mirror neurons are special cells in our brain that fire both when we perform an action and when we see someone else perform the same action. When we hear a story about someone's experience, mirror neurons help us empathize with the characters and feel their emotions. Next, we move on to explain how stories enhance memory retention. Storytelling is more than just an entertaining way to pass the time. It plays a significant role in our cognitive development, especially when it comes to memory and learning. The chapter explores how stories can help us remember things better and make learning more effective. Memory is like a muscle that needs exercise to stay strong. Stories are one of the best exercises for this muscle. When information is presented as a story, it becomes more interesting and engaging. Instead of just listing facts, a story weaves them into a sequence with characters, events, and emotions. This makes the information easier to remember because our brains are naturally drawn to stories. Stories often evoke emotions. Whether it's joy, sadness, or excitement, emotions play a crucial role in memory. When we connect emotionally to a story, we are more likely to remember it. For instance, a story about a brave hero overcoming challenges can stay in our minds longer than a dry, factual account. In a story, details are often given in a context that helps us understand and remember them better. For example, if you're learning about historical events through a story, you get a sense of the time period, characters, and setting, which helps anchor the facts in your memory. Stories frequently revisit key ideas or themes throughout the narrative. This repetition helps reinforce the information, making it easier to recall later. For example, if a story about a quest repeatedly emphasizes bravery, this idea becomes a key part of what you remember about the story. Stories often paint pictures in our minds. When we imagine the scenes described in a story, we create mental images that help us retain the information. Visualizing characters and settings makes the information more concrete and memorable. Let's now talk about the emotional impact of stories while focusing more on the connection between storytelling and empathy. Stories are not just about exciting adventures or interesting facts, they also have a powerful emotional impact. They can make us feel a wide range of emotions and help us understand others better. This chapter looks at how stories connect with our emotions and why this is important for building empathy and connecting with others. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. Stories play a big role in developing this skill. Stories often put us in the shoes of different characters. By experiencing life from someone else's perspective, we start to understand their feelings and struggles. For example, a story about a child who moves to a new city might help us understand what it feels like to be lonely or anxious in a new place. When a story describes situations or emotions we have experienced ourselves, it creates a strong connection. If a character faces a problem similar to one we have faced, we relate to them on a deeper level. This shared experience helps us feel what the character feels, enhancing our empathy. Stories often explore different cultures, lifestyles, and viewpoints. By reading or hearing about people who are different from us, we learn about their experiences and challenges. This broadens our understanding and helps us appreciate diverse perspectives, fostering greater empathy. Characters in stories often go through emotional journeys. We feel joy when they succeed and sadness when they fail. This emotional involvement helps us connect with the characters' feelings, making us more sensitive to similar emotions in real life. Many stories include moral lessons or themes about human values. By reflecting on these lessons, we learn about the importance of kindness, honesty, and other virtues. This helps us develop a deeper sense of empathy and compassion towards others. Storytelling as a survival tool in early humans. Storytelling is a deeply rooted human practice. It's not just a modern way to entertain or inform, but has been important throughout human history. This video explains how storytelling evolved and why it was crucial for early humans. We'll also look at how it helped early societies share knowledge and build communities. In the early days of human history, storytelling was more than just a way to pass the time. It played a critical role in survival. Early humans faced many dangers, from wild animals to harsh weather. Storytelling was a way to pass on important survival information. For example, stories about where to find food or how to avoid predators helped others stay safe and healthy. These stories were shared from one generation to the next, ensuring that important knowledge was not lost. Stories often included lessons on essential skills, such as hunting techniques or how to make tools. By telling stories about successful hunts or effective tools, early humans could teach these skills in an engaging way. This method helped people remember the skills better and apply them in real life. Early humans used stories to warn others about potential dangers. For instance, a story might describe a dangerous encounter with a wild animal, helping others learn about the threat and how to avoid it. These stories acted as cautionary tales that could prevent accidents and injuries. Survival often depended on working together. Stories that highlighted the importance of teamwork and cooperation helped strengthen bonds within groups. By sharing tales of successful group efforts, early humans learned to value and practice working together, which was crucial for their survival. Stories were used to teach moral lessons and rules for behavior. These lessons often revolved around concepts like honesty, bravery, and respect. By following these moral guidelines, early humans could live together more harmoniously and avoid conflicts that might threaten their survival. How to persuade people effectively through storytelling. To persuade people effectively through storytelling, certain techniques can make your stories more impactful. Tailor your story to the interests and needs of your audience. Understanding what matters to them helps you craft a story that resonates. For example, if you're marketing a fitness product to young adults, you might use a story about someone achieving their fitness goals with the product. Create characters or situations that your audience can relate to. When people see themselves in the story, they are more likely to be persuaded. For instance, if you're promoting a new study app, a story about a student who improved their grades using the app can be very relatable. Keep your story straightforward and easy to understand. Avoid jargon or complex terms that might confuse your audience. The goal is to make your message clear and memorable. For example, when telling a story about a new product, describe its benefits in simple terms that everyone can grasp. Structure your story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. Start with a hook to grab attention, follow with the main conflict or challenge, and end with a resolution that highlights the benefits of what you're promoting. A story about overcoming a challenge can effectively show how a product or service provides a solution. Evoke emotions to make your story more compelling. Whether it's joy, surprise, or empathy, emotional connections make stories more memorable and persuasive. For example, a story about a family reuniting after using a particular service can evoke feelings of happiness and warmth. Use vivid descriptions and examples to bring your story to life. Instead of just telling your audience what a product does, show them how it fits into real-life scenarios. For example, a story about a day in the life of someone using your product can illustrate its value better than just listing features. Conclude your story with a clear call to action. Tell your audience what you want them to do next, whether it's buying a product, signing up for a service, or visiting a website. Make sure the call to action is natural and aligns with the story's message. Ensure your story is genuine and reflects your true values or the true benefits of your product or service. Authenticity builds trust and makes your story more credible. Avoid exaggerations or false claims that can damage your reputation. Storytelling is a powerful tool for persuasion in marketing and branding. By creating emotional connections, building brand identity, and engaging audiences, stories help brands stand out and build trust. Effective storytelling involves understanding your audience, making stories relatable, and using clear and emotional language. By following these techniques, you can craft compelling stories that persuade and inspire your audience, making your message more impactful and memorable. Emerging trends and technologies in storytelling. New technologies and trends are constantly shaping the future of storytelling. AI is starting to play a role in storytelling by helping create stories and generate content. For instance, AI can analyze data to suggest story ideas or even write parts of a story. This technology helps storytellers explore new creative possibilities. Machine learning, a type of AI, can analyze large amounts of data to understand patterns and preferences. This helps creators tailor stories to specific audiences by predicting what types of stories people might enjoy. This trend involves telling a story across multiple platforms and media. For example, a story might start as a book, then expand into a film, video game, and social media campaign. Each platform adds a new layer to the story, creating a richer experience. Blockchain, the technology behind cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, is being used to create and protect digital content. It ensures that creators are credited and compensated fairly for their work. This can help authors and artists manage their digital stories and rights. Technology is enabling more personalized storytelling. Algorithms can recommend stories based on a person's interests and previous choices. This means that people can find stories that are specifically tailored to their tastes. New tools are making it easier to create interactive fiction where readers can choose different paths or endings. This type of storytelling allows audiences to become part of the narrative and influence how the story unfolds. Holograms and 3D projections are emerging as new ways to tell stories. These technologies create lifelike images and scenes that can be viewed from different angles, adding a new dimension to storytelling experiences. Data visualization uses graphics to tell stories with data. For example, interactive charts and maps can help explain complex information in a more engaging and understandable way. This trend is useful for storytelling in fields like journalism and education. The future of storytelling is bright and full of exciting possibilities. Digital storytelling and new media are transforming how we create and experience stories, making them more interactive and accessible. Emerging technologies like AI, VR, and AR are opening up new ways to tell and share stories, offering richer and more personalized experiences. As technology continues to evolve, storytelling will keep adapting, providing new and innovative ways to captivate and connect with audiences around the world. Before we go further and provide detailed information on the art of storytelling, we want to first talk about the differences between the science of storytelling and the art of storytelling. The science of storytelling focuses on understanding the underlying principles that make stories effective. It involves studying how stories influence our brains, emotions, and behaviors. Scientists and psychologists explore why certain story structures work, how characters can evoke empathy, and what triggers emotional responses in audiences. The science of storytelling is about analyzing patterns, techniques, and the cognitive processes that turn a simple tale into a memorable and impactful narrative. On the other hand, the art of storytelling is about the creative expression and skill involved in crafting and telling stories. It's the ability to use language, tone, pacing, and emotion to bring a story to life. The art of storytelling is subjective, relying on intuition, creativity, and personal style. It's about knowing when to pause for dramatic effect, how to paint vivid pictures with words, and how to connect with an audience on a deep, emotional level. While the science of storytelling provides the tools and understanding, the art of storytelling is what makes the use of those tools unique, powerful, and engaging. In essence, the science of storytelling gives us the blueprint, explaining why stories work, while the art of storytelling is the craft of how to tell those stories in a way that captivates and moves an audience. Both are essential, working together to create stories that are both technically sound and emotionally resonant. The art of storytelling. The art of storytelling is an ancient craft that has captivated audiences for generations. It's more than just sharing a sequence of events, it's about creating a journey that engages the mind and touches the heart. The art of storytelling involves weaving words, emotions, and imagination together to transport listeners or readers into new worlds, to make them see life from different perspectives, or to convey important lessons. Whether told around a campfire, written in a book, or presented on a screen, stories have the power to entertain, educate, and inspire. In this exploration of the art of storytelling, we'll delve into the techniques that make stories compelling, the impact they have on cultures and individuals, and how anyone can learn to tell a story that resonates. One key aspect that must stick to mind as a storyteller is the ability to weave words, emotions, and imaginations together to transport viewers, listeners, or readers into new worlds, or to make them see life from different perspectives. We provided an example that you can model after. Watch and listen to the story titled The Tales of the Lost Village. In the heart of a vast, whispering forest, there was once a village that no one could find on a map. The trees surrounding it were ancient, their gnarled branches twisting towards the sky like the fingers of forgotten giants. The villagers lived simple lives, tending to their crops and caring for one another. Yet, they held a secret every night. As the moon bathed the village in silver light, they gathered around a great oak tree at the center of the village. This oak was unlike any other. Its leaves shimmered with a soft golden glow, and its roots ran deep, connecting to the very soul of the earth. The villagers believed that as long as the oak tree stood, their village would remain safe, hidden from the world's chaos. But one evening, a traveler stumbled upon the village, lost and weary from a journey that had taken him far from home. The villagers welcomed him warmly, offering him food and shelter. As the night grew darker, the traveler noticed the strange glow of the oak tree. Curiosity burned within him, and when the villagers were asleep, he approached the tree and touched its bark. In that moment, a cold wind swept through the village, and the tree's leaves began to fall, one by one, until none were left. The village started to fade, the homes dissolving into mist, and the traveler's heart filled with dread. The next morning, he awoke alone, standing in an empty clearing with no trace of the village that had been there the night before. The oak tree was gone, and all that remained was a single golden leaf, resting gently on the ground. He picked it up, a tear rolling down his cheek, and vowed to never forget the village that had disappeared into the forest, taking its secret with it. Now let's do a breakdown, explain aspects of the story you just watched and listen to, revealing how words, emotions and imagination were woven in the story. In the story that we used as our example, words are used to paint a vivid picture of the villager of the village and the mysterious oak tree. Emotions are woven through the narrative as we feel the villager's warmth, the traveler's curiosity, and the sorrow of loss. Imagination transports us to a magical place where the ordinary touch of the traveler and the extraordinary fading away of the village intertwine, creating a story that lingers in the mind and stirs the heart. Now let's dive into the elements of a compelling story. In part 1 of this video, we provided a glimpse into the structure of storytelling. However, we dug deeper in this part of the video to explain in details the step-by-step actions to be taken in achieving any structure of choice. A compelling story is one that captures the audience's attention and keeps them hooked until the very end. It is filled with interesting characters, a captivating plot, and a vivid setting. We will discuss the key elements of a compelling story, which includes the plot structure, character development, setting and atmosphere. The plot structure. The plot structure comprises of the beginning, middle, end of the story. In the beginning of the story, the reader, listener or viewer is introduced to the main characters of the story. In setting the scene, the story setting is established, providing context for the events that will unfold. Conflict is introduced through the main conflict or problem in the story, setting the stage for the rest of the narrative. These are the action steps to take in order to excellently introduce your characters in the beginning of your story. First, start by identifying your main characters. Think about their roles in the story. Are they the protagonist, antagonist, or a supporting character? Then, create detailed character profiles, including their background, appearance, personality traits, and motivations. After that, you introduce each character in a way that highlights their significance. This could be through an action, a piece of dialogue, or a description that gives insight into their role in the story. In setting the scene, first we will address the elements of a setting in a scene alongside their action steps. These elements include a physical location, time period and cultural or societal norms. We shall provide the action steps for each of the elements, starting with the physical location. A physical location is the geographical location of the story, such as a city, forest, or spaceship. For a physical location, we can describe the physical environment in detail, focusing on elements that are significant to the story. Consider how the location impacts the plot and characters. Does it create obstacles or opportunities? Next, we look into action steps for creating the time period of the story. The time period is the era in which the story takes place, which can influence the characters' actions, attitudes, and technology. The action steps for creating a time period includes researching the time period if it's historical, or clearly define the era if it's contemporary or futuristic. Reflect the time period in the character's behavior, language, and technology. The time period should influence the story. Now we look into the action steps for creating a cultural and societal setting. We do this by developing the cultural and societal norms that shape your character's world. This could include traditions, laws, and social expectations. Show how these cultural elements affect the character's decisions and the plot's progression. Other action steps we can adopt in setting the scene includes describing the setting in vivid detail, but avoid overwhelming the audience with too much information. Focus on elements that contribute to the mood and context of the story. Choose a setting that enhances the story's themes and conflicts. The setting should feel like a character in its own right. Use the setting to immerse the audience in the story. Include sensory details that make the world come alive. The next step is to establish the atmosphere, which conveys the mood or tone of the story through the setting, whether it's dark and ominous, light and cheerful, or something else. Decide on the mood or tone you want to convey in your story. How should the audience feel as they engage with story? Use descriptive language, imagery, and literary devices to create the atmosphere. Every element should contribute to the overall mood. Maintain consistency in the atmosphere throughout the story, but be open to shifts as the plot demands. The atmosphere should enhance the emotional impact of the story. Examples of atmosphere is a tense and foreboding atmosphere in a mystery novel, a light and whimsical atmosphere in a comedy, or a romantic and passionate atmosphere in a love story. Now let's focus on the action steps for introducing conflict. Start by identifying the main conflict or problem that will drive the story. This could be a character's internal struggle, a clash between characters, or an external obstacle. Introduce the conflict early in the story. It should be clear to the audience what the stakes are and what challenges the characters will face. Ensure that the conflict is compelling and relatable, giving the audience a reason to care about how it will be resolved. The middle of the story is next in our conversation. It comprises of the rising action, conflict development, and character growth. In the rising action, the plot moves forward as events build up, creating tension and excitement for the audience. In the conflict development, the main conflict is explored in depth, and sub-conflicts may arise along the way. While the character growth involves developing and changing the characters as they face challenges and make decisions. These are the action you can use in creating a rising action in a story. Start by planning out the events that will lead up to the climax of the story. Each event should build tension and push the story forward. Then introduce complications or obstacles that make the conflict more intense. These could be new challenges, unexpected twists, or deepening personal struggles. Keep the pacing dynamic. Alternate between moments of high tension and quieter scenes to maintain the audience's interest. Conflict development can be created in a story by deepening the main conflict by exploring its causes and consequences. Show how it affects the characters and their relationships. Introduce sub-conflicts or secondary problems that add complexity to the story. These can be smaller challenges that connect to the main conflict. Use the development of the conflict to reveal more about the character's strengths, weaknesses, and motivations. Create characters who are relatable and human, even if they are in extraordinary situations. The audience should be able to see themselves in the character's struggles and growth. To create character growth in a story, first identify how each main character will change over the course of the story. This could be a shift in their beliefs, goals, or relationships. Understand your characters deeply. Know their motivations, fears, dreams, and flaws before you start writing. Develop a backstory for each character that explains who they are and why they behave the way they do. Reveal backstory through subtle hints, flashbacks, or dialogue rather than dumping it all at once. This keeps the audience interested. Identify a personal struggle for each main character, something that challenges their beliefs or desires. Show how this internal conflict influences their decisions and actions throughout the story. Write dialogue that reflects the character's personality and relationships. Dialogue should feel natural and convey more than just information. It should reveal character. Use dialogue to show how characters relate to one another, how they change, and what they really think and feel. Plan out the character arcs. Decide how each character will evolve by the end of the story. Make sure the character's journey is believable. Their growth should be a response to the events of the story. Show the characters facing challenges that force them to grow. This growth should feel natural and be a response to the events of the story. In the end of the story, you create the climax, falling action, and resolution of the story. Let's start by providing the action steps for creating the climax of a story. This can be done through building up to the climax by heightening the stakes and tension. The climax should be the most intense and emotional part of the story. Ensure the climax is a direct result of the events that came before it. It should feel inevitable but still surprising. Make the climax impactful. It should resolve the main conflict and have a significant effect on the characters and story. Next is creating a falling action. After the climax, show the immediate consequences of the climax. How are the characters affected? What changes in the story's world? Begin to tie up any loose ends or subplots. Ensure that the audience understands how the story is winding down. Use this time to reflect on the events of the story and the changes in the characters. It's a moment of calm after the storm. Creating the resolution phase of the story is next. We can create resolution for the story by resolving the main conflict completely. The audience should feel that the story has come to a satisfying conclusion. Show the final state of the characters. Where do they end up? How have they changed from the beginning? Consider leaving a lasting message or theme that resonates with the audience. The resolution is a chance to leave them with something to think about. Storytelling across different media. Storytelling has always been an important part of human life. From ancient times to today, people have used stories to share their experiences, beliefs, and values. Stories can be told in many different ways, and each way has its own special power. In this video, we will look at 3 main types of storytelling: oral storytelling traditions, written narratives like novels and short stories, and visual storytelling such as film and theatre. Oral storytelling traditions is one of the oldest forms of sharing stories. Before people could write, they told stories by speaking them out loud. These stories were often shared around campfires, at family gatherings, or during special ceremonies. One example of oral storytelling is the use of myths and legends. These are stories about gods, heroes, and magical creatures that explain how the world works or teach lessons about life. Many cultures have their own myths and legends that have been passed down from generation to generation. Another example is folk tales. These are stories about everyday people and their adventures. They often teach moral lessons or explain why things are the way they are. For example, a folktale might explain why the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Oral storytelling is special because it creates a close connection between the storyteller and the audience. The storyteller can use their voice, facial expressions, and body language to bring the story to life. The audience can ask questions, make comments, and even help tell the story. This makes oral storytelling a shared and interactive experience. Written narratives, novels, and short stories. As people learned to write, they began to record their stories in written form. This allowed stories to be shared with more people and preserved for future generations. Written narratives come in many forms, but 2 of the most popular are novels and short stories. A novel is a long story that is usually divided into chapters. Novels can be about anything: love, adventure, mystery, fantasy, or even real-life events. They give the writer the chance to create detailed characters and settings and to explore complex plots. Some famous novels include Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling, The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, and To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Short stories, on the other hand, are much shorter than novels. They usually focus on a single event or a small number of characters. Because they are short, every word in a short story is important. Short stories can be just as powerful as novels and are often used to explore a single idea or emotion. Some famous short stories include The Lottery by Shirley Jackson, The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe, and The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry. Written narratives are powerful because they allow readers to use their imagination. When you read a story, you can picture the characters and settings in your mind. You can also feel the emotions of the characters and think about the themes of the story. This makes reading a very personal and immersive experience. What about visual storytelling, which includes film and theatre? Visual storytelling is another important way to share stories. Unlike oral or written storytelling, visual storytelling uses images and performances to tell a story. 2 common forms of visual storytelling are film and theatre. Film or movies use moving pictures and sound to tell a story. Films can be animated or live action, and they can be about anything from superheroes to historical events. One of the great things about film is that it can show things that are hard to describe with words, like a beautiful landscape or an exciting chase scene. Some famous films include Star Wars: The Lion King and The Avengers. Theatre is a form of storytelling where actors perform a story live on stage. Theatre can include plays, musicals, and even puppet shows. Like film, theatre uses visuals and sound, but it also has the unique element of being performed live in front of an audience. This creates a special connection between the actors and the audience. Some famous theatre productions include Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, Hamilton by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and The Phantom of the Opera by Andrew Lloyd Webber. Visual storytelling is powerful because it combines many different elements: acting, music, costumes, sets, and special effects. This makes it a very engaging and entertaining way to tell a story. Storytelling is a universal human activity that comes in many different forms. Oral storytelling traditions connect us to our ancestors and teach us important lessons. Written narratives like novels and short stories let us explore new worlds and ideas through our imagination. Visual storytelling through film and theatre brings stories to life in vivid and exciting ways. Each type of storytelling has its own unique strengths and can touch our hearts and minds in different ways. No matter how a story is told, it has the power to entertain, educate, and inspire us. The art of personal storytelling. Storytelling is a powerful way to connect with others. When you share your own stories, you open up a part of yourself to others. This video will help you understand how to tell your personal stories in a way that others can relate to and enjoy. We will look at how to share personal experiences and anecdotes, techniques for making your stories relatable, and the therapeutic and reflective benefits of storytelling. Sharing personal experiences and anecdotes begins with finding your stories. Everyone has a story to tell. Think about moments in your life that made you feel something strongly: happiness, sadness, fear, excitement, or surprise. These moments are the heart of your personal stories. They don't have to be big or dramatic. Even small, everyday events can be interesting if you tell them well. Structure your story. Every good story has a beginning, middle, and end. Start by setting the scene. Describe where you were and who was with you. In the middle, talk about what happened. Be clear and detailed. Finally, wrap up your story by sharing how the experience ended and how it made you feel. Be honest and authentic. People connect with stories that feel real. Don't try to make your story sound perfect. Share your true feelings and thoughts. If you felt scared, say so. If you made a mistake, admit it. Authenticity makes your story more relatable and engaging. Use descriptive language. Bring your story to life by using descriptive language. Instead of saying, "I was scared," you could say, "My heart was pounding, and my hands were shaking." This helps your audience to see and feel what you experienced. Next, we will talk about the techniques for making personal stories relatable. Know your audience. Think about who you are telling your story to. What do they care about? What experiences might they have had that are similar to yours? Tailor your story to make it relevant to them. If you're talking to friends who love sports, relate your story to a game or a competition. Use common themes. Some themes are universal. Themes like love, friendship, fear, and adventure resonate with almost everyone. Try to connect your story to these common themes. For example, if you're talking about a difficult day at school, you could relate it to the theme of overcoming challenges. Show, don't tell. Instead of just telling your audience what happened, show them. Describe actions, reactions, and feelings. For example, instead of saying, "I was nervous about my speech," you could say, "As I walked to the front of the room, I could feel my legs shaking, and my mouth went dry." This makes your story more vivid and engaging. Add humor. Humor is a great way to connect with your audience. If something funny happened, don't be afraid to laugh at yourself. Sharing embarrassing moments can make you seem more human and relatable. Just make sure the humor is appropriate for your audience. The therapeutic and reflective aspects of storytelling. This is about understanding yourself better. When you tell your story, you reflect on your experiences. This can help you understand yourself better. You might realize why you felt a certain way, or why you acted a certain way. This self-reflection can be very therapeutic. Finding closure. Talking about difficult experiences can help you find closure. It allows you to process your feelings and let go of any negative emotions. Sharing your story with others can also make you feel less alone. Building connections. When you share your personal stories, you build connections with others. People might relate to your experiences and share their own stories in return. This creates a sense of community and mutual understanding. Boosting confidence. Telling your story and having others listen and appreciate it can boost your confidence. It shows that your experiences and feelings are valid and that others care about what you have to say. Healing and growth. Storytelling can be a healing process. It allows you to confront and deal with past experiences. Over time, this can lead to personal growth. You learn from your past and become stronger and more resilient. Personal storytelling is a powerful way to connect with others and understand yourself better. By sharing your personal experiences and anecdotes, using techniques to make your stories relatable, and embracing the therapeutic and reflective aspects of storytelling, you can become a more effective and engaging storyteller. Remember to be honest, use descriptive language, and tailor your story to your audience. With practice, you'll find that your stories can entertain, inspire, and heal both you and your audience. How to make money telling stories. In today's world, storytelling isn't just an art, it's also a valuable skill that can be turned into a profitable career. Whether through writing books, creating content for social media, or delivering compelling speeches, there are many ways to earn money by telling stories. This guide will explore the various avenues you can take to monetize your storytelling skills, from publishing and podcasting to freelancing and teaching others how to craft their own narratives. With passion and creativity, you can turn your love of storytelling into a successful and rewarding income stream. Self-publishing your stories is the first on our list. Publishing your own stories can be a thrilling adventure. It allows you to share your unique voice and imagination with the world. Whether you're writing a novel, a collection of short stories, or a children's book, self-publishing gives you control over your work. We'll explore the steps to self-publish a book or ebook and look at some effective marketing strategies for self-published authors. Self-publishing your stories is a rewarding journey. By following the steps to write, edit, format, and publish your book, and by implementing effective marketing strategies, you can successfully share your work with the world. Remember, persistence and passion are key. Keep writing, keep promoting, and most importantly, keep believing in your story. Creating content for brands. Creating content for brands is an exciting way to use your storytelling skills. Brands need interesting and engaging stories to connect with their audience. By creating content for brands, you can help them build their identity and reach more people. Explain how to create content for brands, how to pitch your storytelling services to businesses, and look at some case studies of successful brand storytelling. How to create content for brands. Understand the brand. Before you start creating content, it's important to understand the brand. Some steps to help you get to know the brand includes researching the brand. Visit the brand's website and social media pages. Look at their products, services, and the messages they share. Identify the brand's audience by understanding who the brand's customers are. Are they young people, families, professionals, or another group? Know the brand's voice. Every brand has a unique voice. Some brands are fun and playful, while others are serious and professional. Make sure your content matches the brand's voice. Develop a content strategy. A content strategy is a plan for creating and sharing content. Some steps to develop a content strategy include setting goals. Decide what you want to achieve with your content. Do you want to increase brand awareness, drive sales, or engage with the audience? Choose content types. Decide what types of content you will create. This could include blog posts, videos, social media posts, infographics, and more. Create a content calendar. Plan when and where you will publish your content. A content calendar helps you stay organized and ensures you post regularly. Create engaging content. Now it's time to create the content. Tell a story. People love stories. Share interesting stories about the brand, its products, or its customers. Use visuals. Include images, videos, and graphics to make your content more appealing. Be authentic. Authenticity is important. Be honest and genuine in your content. Include a call to action. Encourage your audience to take action, like visiting the brand's website, following them on social media, or making a purchase. Measure and improve your performance. After publishing your content, it's important to measure its success and make improvements. Track performance. Use tools like Google Analytics or social media insights to see how your content is performing. Analyze results. Look at what worked well and what didn't. Use this information to improve your future content. Get feedback. Ask the brand and their audience for feedback on your content. This can provide valuable insights. How to pitch storytelling services to businesses. Pitching your storytelling services to businesses can be a great way to get clients. Start with identifying potential clients. First, you need to identify businesses that might need your storytelling services. Look for brands that need help. Find brands that are not active on social media or have a weak online presence. Check local businesses. Local businesses often need help with their content and storytelling. Research the business. Before pitching, research the business to understand their needs and challenges. Visit their website. Look at their website to see what kind of content they currently have. Check their social media. See how they are engaging with their audience on social media. Identify gaps. Look for areas where the business could improve their storytelling. Prepare your pitch. Your pitch should clearly explain how you can help the business. Introduce yourself. Start by introducing yourself and your experience in storytelling. Highlight benefits. Explain the benefits of storytelling for the business, such as increased engagement, brand awareness, and sales. Show examples. Provide examples of your previous work. If you don't have examples, create some sample content for the business. Propose a plan. Outline a plan for how you will create content for the business. Include your ideas and the steps you will take. Reach out to the business. Once your pitch is ready, reach out to the business. Send an email. Write a clear and professional email. Include your pitch and any examples of your work. Follow up. If you don't hear back, follow up with a polite reminder after a week or two. Be persistent. Don't get discouraged if you don't get a response right away. Keep reaching out to other businesses. Let's look at some case studies of successful brand storytelling. Looking at successful brand storytelling can provide inspiration and insights. We start with Nike Just Do It. Nike's Do It campaign is a great example of powerful brand storytelling. Nike's Just Do It campaign tells stories of athletes overcoming challenges and achieving their goals. The stories are inspiring and motivational. This campaign has helped Nike become one of the most recognizable brands in the world. It has built a strong emotional connection with their audience. Another example is Dove Real Beauty. Dove's Real Beauty campaign focuses on promoting body positivity and self-esteem. Dove shares stories of real women with different body types, ages, and backgrounds. The campaign challenges traditional beauty standards and encourages self-acceptance. This campaign has resonated with many people and has helped Dove build a reputation as a brand that cares about its customers' well-being. Next example is Coca-Cola Share a Coke. Coca-Cola's Share a Coke campaign personalized their products to create a personal connection with their customers. Coca-Cola replaced their logo on bottles with popular names and encouraged people to share a Coke with friends and family. This campaign increased sales and engagement. People loved finding bottles with their names and sharing them on social media. Creating content for brands is a rewarding way to use your storytelling skills. By understanding the brand, developing a content strategy, creating engaging content, and measuring your success, you can help brands connect with their audience. Pitching your storytelling services to businesses requires research, preparation, and persistence. Learning from successful brand storytelling campaigns can provide valuable insights and inspiration. With dedication and creativity, you can create impactful content that helps brands tell their stories. Ghostwriting opportunities. Ghostwriting is when you write content for someone else, and they take the credit. This could be books, articles, blogs, speeches, or any other form of writing. Ghostwriting can be a great way to use your writing skills and earn money. We will look into ghostwriting opportunities, how to find clients for ghostwriting projects, and how to ensure client satisfaction and repeat business. Ghostwriting offers many opportunities in different areas. Ghostwriting books is one of the most common opportunities. Many people want to write their life stories but don't know how. As a ghostwriter, you can help them tell their story. Experts in various fields may need help writing books about their knowledge and experiences. Some people have great ideas for novels but lack the writing skills to bring them to life. Articles and blogs. Writing articles and blogs is another popular ghostwriting opportunity. Companies often need blog posts to promote their products and services. Busy individuals might hire ghostwriters to keep their personal blogs updated. Many publications hire ghostwriters to write articles on various topics. Next are speeches and presentations. Speeches and presentations are important for many professionals. Politicians, executives, and public speakers often hire ghostwriters to craft their speeches. Business professionals may need help writing and designing presentations. Social media content. Social media content is crucial for personal and business branding. Writing engaging posts for platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Crafting compelling profiles and bios for individuals and businesses. Let's look at finding clients for ghostwriting projects. Finding clients for ghostwriting projects can be challenging, but with the right approach, you can build a successful business. Build a portfolio. A strong portfolio showcases your writing skills and experience. Include samples of your best work. If you're just starting, create sample pieces to demonstrate your abilities. If you have previous clients, ask them for testimonials to add credibility to your portfolio. Create a professional website to display your portfolio and make it easy for potential clients to find you. Just like we said earlier, network. Networking is key to finding ghostwriting clients. Go to writing conferences, workshops, and industry events. Meet people who might need your services. Participate in online writing groups, forums, and social media communities. Reach out to professionals in your target industries and let them know about your services. Use freelance platforms. Freelance platforms can help you find ghostwriting gigs. Create a profile on Upwork and apply for ghostwriting jobs. Offer your ghostwriting services on Fiverr. Look for ghostwriting projects on Freelancer. It's time to market yourself. Effective marketing helps attract clients. Start a blog about writing and share your expertise. Use social media to promote your services and connect with potential clients. Build an email list and send regular updates about your services and successes. Reach out directly. Sometimes the best way to find clients is to reach out directly. Identify potential clients. Make a list of individuals and businesses that might need ghostwriting services. Send pitches. Write personalized pitches explaining how you can help them. Be clear about the benefits of hiring you as a ghostwriter. Ensuring client satisfaction and repeat business. Ensuring client satisfaction is crucial for building a successful ghostwriting career. Happy clients are more likely to hire you again and refer you to others. Understand client needs. Understanding your client's needs is the first step to delivering great work. Ask detailed questions about what the client wants. Understand their goals, audience, and preferences. Be clear about what you can deliver and set realistic expectations. Agree on deadlines and the scope of the project. Effective communication helps avoid misunderstandings and keeps the project on track. Keep your client informed about your progress. Regular updates show that you are committed to the project. Respond to emails and messages promptly. Being available builds trust and shows professionalism. Ask for feedback throughout the project. This allows you to make adjustments and ensure the client is happy with your work. One of your goals should be to deliver high-quality work. Delivering high-quality work is essential for client satisfaction. Pay attention to detail in your writing. Check for grammar, spelling, and formatting errors. Deliver your work on time. Meeting deadlines shows that you are reliable and professional. Go the extra mile to exceed your client's expectations. Deliver more than what was promised when possible. Handle revisions professionally. Revisions are a normal part of the writing process. Be open to making changes based on client feedback. Revisions help improve the final product. Handle revision requests with a positive attitude. Remember that the goal is to make the client happy. Make sure you understand the requested changes before making revisions. Ask for clarification if needed. Build relationships. Building strong relationships with your clients can lead to repeat business. Add a personal touch to your interactions. Show genuine interest in your client's projects and goals. After completing a project, follow up to see if the client is satisfied. Ask if there is anything else you can help with. Keep in touch with past clients. Send occasional updates or check-ins to maintain the relationship. Ask for referrals. Happy clients are often willing to refer you to others. Ask satisfied clients if they know anyone who might need your services. Consider offering incentives for referrals, like a discount on future projects. Ghostwriting offers a variety of opportunities in areas like books, articles, blogs, speeches, presentations, and social media content. Finding clients for ghostwriting projects involves building a portfolio, networking, using freelance platforms, marketing yourself, and reaching out directly. Ensuring client satisfaction and repeat business requires understanding client needs, effective communication, delivering high-quality work, handling revisions professionally, building relationships, and asking for referrals. With dedication, professionalism, and a focus on client satisfaction, you can build a successful career as a ghostwriter. Public speaking and storytelling performances. Public speaking and storytelling performances can be exciting ways to share your stories and connect with audiences. In this video, we'll explore how to prepare and deliver captivating stories and how to find speaking opportunities and events. Understand your audience. Knowing your audience helps you tailor your story to their interests and needs. Find out who will be in the audience. Are they young people, professionals, parents, or a mix? Think about what interests and concerns your audience might have. What kind of stories will resonate with them? Use language and examples that your audience will understand and appreciate. Choose your story. Select a story that you're passionate about and that fits the occasion. Personal stories are often the most engaging. Share an experience that had a significant impact on you. Stories that inspire and motivate can leave a lasting impression. Funny or light-hearted stories can be great for keeping the audience engaged and entertained. Structure your story. A well-structured story keeps the audience engaged from beginning to end. Start with a strong opening that grabs the audience's attention. Introduce the main characters and setting. Develop the plot and build tension. Introduce conflicts and challenges that the characters face. Resolve the conflicts and provide a satisfying conclusion. Leave the audience with a clear message or takeaway. Preparing and delivering captivating stories. Write your story. Writing your story helps you organize your thoughts and ensure you cover all important points. Start with an outline of the main points you want to cover. This helps you stay focused and organized. Write a full draft of your story. Don't worry about perfection at this stage, just get your ideas down on paper. Edit and revise your draft to improve clarity, flow, and impact. Practice your delivery. Practicing your delivery is key to a successful performance. Practice reading your story aloud. This helps you get comfortable with the words and find the best way to deliver them. Pay attention to your timing. Make sure your story fits within the allotted time for your presentation. Vary your pacing to keep the audience engaged. Slow down for important points and speed up during exciting moments. Use body language and voice. Your body language and voice can enhance your storytelling. Use natural gestures to emphasize key points. Avoid over-the-top movements that can be distracting. Use facial expressions to convey emotions. Smile, frown, and show surprise when appropriate. Vary your tone, pitch, and volume to keep the audience engaged. Use pauses for dramatic effect. Engage your audience. Engaging the audience makes your story more impactful. Make eye contact with different members of the audience. This helps build a connection and keeps them engaged. Ask rhetorical questions to involve the audience and make them think. Include interactive elements like a show of hands or a brief discussion. Let's talk about handling nervousness. It's natural to feel nervous before speaking in public. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel. Take deep breaths to calm your nerves before you start. Visualize yourself delivering a successful performance. Next is finding speaking opportunities and events. Finding speaking opportunities and events helps you share your stories with a wider audience. This process is easier when you start small. Start with smaller, local events to build your confidence and experience. Offer to speak at local schools. Many schools welcome guest speakers for special events or classes. Check with community centers for opportunities to speak at their events. Libraries often host storytelling events and may be looking for speakers. Now consider using online platforms. Online platforms can help you find speaking opportunities. Use social media to connect with event organizers and promote your speaking services. Join online speaker directories where event organizers can find and book speakers. Websites like Eventbrite and Meetup list events looking for speakers. We can't stop emphasizing on networking. Networking is key to finding speaking opportunities. Go to events and conferences in your area of interest. Meet people and let them know about your speaking services. Join professional groups and associations related to public speaking or storytelling. Reach out to event organizers and offer your services. Share your portfolio and highlight your expertise. Create a speaker portfolio. A professional speaker portfolio helps you showcase your skills and experience. Write a compelling bio that highlights your experience and expertise. Include videos of your past performances. This gives potential clients a sense of your style and delivery. Add testimonials from previous clients or audience members. Positive feedback adds credibility to your portfolio. Offer free workshops or webinars. Offering free workshops or webinars can help you gain exposure and attract speaking opportunities. Choose topics that you're passionate about and that are relevant to your audience. Promote your workshops or webinars on social media and through your network. After the event, follow up with participants and ask for feedback. Use this feedback to improve and attract future opportunities. Public speaking and storytelling performances are powerful ways to share your stories and connect with audiences. By understanding your audience, choosing the right story, structuring it well, and practicing your delivery, you can captivate your listeners. Finding speaking opportunities involves starting small, using online platforms, networking, creating a speaker portfolio, and offering free workshops or webinars. With dedication and practice, you can become a confident and engaging storyteller, sharing your stories with the world and making a lasting impact on your audience. How to edit videos as a storyteller. Editing videos as a storyteller involves more than just cutting and splicing clips. It's about crafting a narrative that captivates your audience. Start by understanding the flow of your story. Every scene should have a purpose, leading your viewers seamlessly from one point to the next. Begin by organizing your footage. Label your clips according to their role in the narrative, whether they set the scene, build tension, or deliver the climax. This will make it easier to arrange them on your timeline. Focus on pacing. A well-paced video maintains viewer interest. Use quick cuts for action and slower transitions for emotional moments. Don't be afraid to trim excess footage. Brevity often strengthens the impact of your story. Use music and sound effects to enhance the emotional tone. Music can set the mood, while sound effects add depth and realism. However, be mindful not to overpower the dialogue or main action. Transitions and effects should be used sparingly. While they can add flair, overuse can distract from the story. Stick to simple cuts, dissolves, and the occasional fade to keep the focus on the narrative. Always review your edits with fresh eyes, ensuring your story is clear, engaging, and impactful. Learning and using video editing softwares like KineMaster, CapCut, etc. will help you in editing story videos excellently. Click on the next video to learn how to edit videos using KineMaster.